Hi everyone, welcome to an advanced tutorial on 5G new radio RRC inactive state. Some of you would have been working in the mobile telecom industry for a long time and remember how complex the RRC states used to be for 3G or UMTS. We used to have four main states and there used to be all different sets of rules to transition from one to another. Of course, we are not going to get into this in this particular tutorial, but just wanted to highlight for some of the newcomers who have started in this industry from 4G onwards. We had this complication because in 3G we had two different types of core networks, the CS or circuit switched and the PS or packet switched. When we moved to 4G, we dropped the CS domain and continued with only the PS domain. Of course, this created some complications with regards to voice, as we have explained in our earlier video. In short, there wasn't a clear-cut strategy for voice when moving to 4G. The operators relied temporarily on CS fallback, hoping for the voice over LTE or VoLTE to take off. But after all these years, it's still not there. This slide was presented by AT&T in a Mobile World Dive and Cineverse webinar. If you look at the box highlighted in red by me, it says that there are 887 mobile network operators in the world, 736 have LTE, but only 238 have VoLTE, of which only around 30 to 50 have VoLTE roaming. This means that 2G 3G networks will be around for the voice roaming for a long time. Anyway, I went on one of my tangents. Coming back to 4G, if we look at the E-UTRA RRC states, we notice that in 4G there are just two states, the RRC idle and RRC connected. I have shown this in the red dotted box. The latest 3GPP release for this RRC specs in 3GPP TS 36.331 has defined the RRC inactive state as well. But we are not going to look at this state from 4G point of view in this particular tutorial. So when we move from 4G to 5G, we have a one-to-one mapping, right, for everything from 4G to 5G. The E node B becomes G node B. Well, technically it's the next generation RAN, but let's keep it simple and call it the G node B here. The evolved packet core or EPC becomes the 5G core, 5GC, and the evolved packet system or EPS becomes the 5G system or 5GS. If we look at the RRC specifications for 5G NR, which is 3GPP TS 38.331, you will see the simplistic RRC states for 5G as shown here. So in addition to RRC idle and RRC connected, as in case of 4G, we have a new state which is the RRC inactive state. Just so that you are aware, there is also a 4G RRC inactive state that has been defined. The intention of this tutorial is to introduce you to why RRC inactive state was defined in the 5G new radio. One of the main motivations for this new RRC inactive state is to reduce latency. As you can see being shown here, because of lots of apps that we have on our smartphones, there is a lot of background signaling that goes on. In LTE, when there is no inactive state, there is a need to move the RRC from idle to active state. This takes a lot more signaling and latency is higher. What is missing in this slide is the NAS signaling, which we will look to understand the inactive state better. In 5G, because of the inactive state, the signaling is minimized and the latency is reduced. There are many different types of latency that we have explained in another one of our videos before. Okay, so we are not going to do a tutorial on EMM and ECM in 4G EPS there is a reference to nice introduction from Netmanias that is available in the references at the end if you want to have a quick refresh. As we always mention, you can download our slides from the SlideShare channel. So the EPS mobility management is managed by the EMM protocol in the UE and the MME, as is shown in figure here. The UE's EMM state depends on whether it is registered with the EPC. In the state EMM registered, the mobile is switched on and is registered with the serving MME and a serving gateway. The mobile has an IP address and a default EPS bearer, which gives it always on connectivity with a default packet data network. In EMM deregistered, the mobile is switched off or out of coverage and has none of these attributes. Okay. The EPS connection management states are managed by the ECM protocol. The UE's ECM state depends on whether it is in active or on standby from the viewpoint of NAS protocols and the EPC. An active mobile is in ECM connected state. In this state, all the data bearers and the signaling radio bearers are in place. Using them, the mobile can freely exchange signaling messages with the MME through a logical connection known as the signaling connection and can freely exchange data with the serving gateway. When on standby, a UE is in ECM idle. In this state, it would be inappropriate to keep all the bearers in place because the network would have to reroute them whenever the mobile moved from one cell to another, even though they would not be carrying any information. To avoid the resulting signaling overhead, the network tears down a mobile's S1 bearers and radio bearers whenever the mobile enters the ECM idle. The mobile can then freely move from one cell to another without the need to reroute the bearers every time. However, the EPS bearers remain in place so that a mobile retains its logical connection with the outside world. The S5 S8 bearers also remain in place as the mobile changes its serving gateway only occasionally. So, quick recap of the 4G EPS bearer architecture. I have highlighted the EPS bearer and the S5 S8 bearer in red. So as I mentioned, when the UE moves to ECM idle state, the EPS bearer and the S5 S8 bearer is retained while the radio bearer and the S1 bearer is torn down. This is just another view that may actually help you visualize the bearers. So when the UE is switched off, RRC state is idle, EMM is deregistered and ECM is idle. When the UE starts the attach procedure, the RRC state is connected and the EMM state attach procedure starts. At the end of the attach procedure, after the RRC connection is released, the EMM state is registered and ECM is still idle. Then when the data transfer session has to start, so the UE will get into the RRC connected state and start the service request procedure. The UE then enters the active state where it is actively transferring the data. This is when it is in ECM connected state, as you can see. And finally, once the data transfer is finished, the UE is back in idle register state with RRC connection released and ECM state idle. EMM is still in registered. In 5G, instead of EMM, we have the registration management or RM. The registration management is used to register or deregister a UE or a user with the network and establish the user contact in the network. Another thing to note is that when what we used to call PDP contact establishment in 2G and 3G, and that became known as the default bearer in case of LTE or 4G, right? In 5G, This procedure is now referred to as establishing a PDU session, where, as you probably know, PDU stands for Protocol Data Unit. So this is exactly how registration management looks like in 3GPP-TS 23.501, just in case you were wondering. In the RM deregistered state, the UE is not registered with the network. The UE context in AMF holds no valid location or routing information for the UE, so the UE is not reachable by the AMF. However, some parts of UE context may still be stored in the UE and the AMF, example to avoid running an authentication procedure during every registration procedure. In the RM registered state, the UE is registered with the network. In the RM registered state, the UE can receive services that require registration with the network. The connection management is essentially the same as in 4G, just known as CM, and it comprises the functions of establishing and releasing NAS signaling connection between the UE and the AMF over the N1 interface. We also made some tutorials on the 5G non-3GPP access networks. The CM state for 3GPP access and the non-3GPP access are independent of each other. That is, one of them can be in the CM idle state at the same time when the other one is in CM connected state. So these are the CM state transitions from 3GPP TS 23.501. When the UE enters CM idle state, the user plane connection of the PDU sessions that were active in this on this access are deactivated. So just a very quick recap of the RRC states in combination with the NAS states in 5G system. The mobility management state of a UE can be either RM registered or RM deregistered, depending on whether the UE is registered in 5G core or not. The two connection management states, namely the CM idle and CM connected, are used to reflect the NAS signaling connectivity of the UE with the AMF. So a UE in CM idle state has no NAS signaling connection established with AMF over the N1, and a UE in CM connected state has a NAS signaling connection with the AMF over N1. So remember, this is where the CM states have been simplified in 5G compared to LT or EPC. So a NAS signaling connection uses RRC connection between the UE and the NGRAN and an NGAP UE association between the access network and the AMF for 3GPP access. So as discussed, NR RRC protocol state consists of three states, where in addition to RRC idle and RRC connected states, a third state has been introduced, the RRC inactive, as an intermediate state prior to transition to RRC idle in order to save UE power and to allow fast connection setup. So this is, keeps coming up and you have to remember this because this plays an important role in URLLC or ultra reliable and low latency communication. So very quickly looking at what is possible in different RRC states, starting with RRC idle. So you can see the UE can do PLMN selection, read broadcast of system information, possible to do cell reselection, paging for mobile terminated data is initiated by 5G core that you should be able to receive, and finally DRX for CN paging can be configured by NAS for power saving purposes. In the RRC connected state, 5G core and NGRAN connection both for control and user planes is established for UE. The UE AS context is stored in NGRAN and the UE. NGRAN knows the cell which the UE belongs to, transfer of unicast data to from UE, network control mobility including measurements. Finally, the RRC inactive state. Here the UI can do PLMN selection, receive broadcast of system information, cell reselection mobility. Paging is initiated by ngRAN, RAN paging. RAN based notification area or RNA, we will look at it soon, is managed by ngRAN. DRX for RAN paging configured by ngRAN. 5G core ngRAN connection, both control and user planes, is established for UE. The UE AS context is stored in ngRAN and the UE. ngRAN knows the RNA which the UE belongs to. So as you saw, the terms RNA or RAN based notification area being used with RRC inactive state. So here is the quick summary. The RNA is similar to tracking area which is used by the core network when the UE is in idle. When the UE is about to go to inactive, an RNA is configured by the G node B. It consists of list of cells. So UE should always be reachable in the RNA. So paging is sent to all the cells in an RNA if the UE has a mobile terminated call. Then of course there will be a periodic RNA-U, which is RNA update, right, procedure, as well as the RNA update if the UE moves out of the RNA. So let's also quickly touch on the concept of inactive RNTI or IRNTI. So there are two types of IRNTI, the full IRNTI which is 40 bits and the short IRNTI which is 24 bits. It's only applicable for signaling messages while the UE is in RRC inactive state. An IRNTI can be allocated to the UE within an RRC release message when it's moving from RRC connected to RRC inactive as part of suspend config, as can be shown as can be seen in the picture here. So coming back to the 5G system state transitions, when the UE is switched off or in the plane mode, the RRC and the CM states don't exist. From the RM point of view, the UE is in deregistered state. Once it starts attaching, it has to get RRC connected first and then establish a NAS connection. Note that in 5G, as we discussed, as soon as the NAS connection is established, the CM goes in connected state. So the RM is still deregistered. Once the attach procedure is complete, the UE could be in RRC inactive state if it's not actively transferring data, or is in connected state if it is actively transferring data. Note that the CM state remains connected and the RM state stays registered. So let us see an example of signaling with and without RRC inactive state. Starting with the legacy approach where the UE is in RRC idle. First you have the RF synchronization, right? And once that is done, the UE sends RRC connection request and the RAN sends connection setup. I'm not going to go in details with any parameters here, but check out the 3GPP TS 38.331 for message details. The UE then sends RRC connection setup complete with the service request, and this is translated to the initial UE message with the service request. First, the RRC security procedure has to complete based on the UE context setup message, and then the bearers are set up using RRC connection reconfiguration. Once this is all successful, the core network can be informed about successful UE context setup complete message, and finally the user data can now flow. Let's contrast this to the new inactive to connected transition. First, you have the RF synchronization procedure. Once that is done, the UE sends RRC resume request. The NR-REN sends RRC resume. The UE sends RRC resume complete. The data transfer can now start. As you noticed that the number of messages over the air interface has now been reduced to just 3 from 7 as in case of the legacy procedure. "3GPP TS38.300 is a good starting point if you want to learn more details about the RRC resume request signaling. Look at the references for our 5G specification page and you will find the links to all the basic 5G specifications there. Finally, if you were wondering what happens if the RRC resume procedure fails, in that case the backup is the legacy RRC connection procedure as shown. Again, the details are in 3GPP TS 38.300. So here is the list of references that we used for this presentation. The specifications are on the 3G 4G page. See the first link, and you can get the slides from SlideShare, and that will have all the details, the links for all the references. See the description of the video for the SlideShare page. So we hope you found this slightly longer explanation of 5G new radio RRC inactive state useful. As always, comments, suggestions and criticisms welcome. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you and goodbye.